Welcome to this lesson where we will talk about a very useful feature that AWS CLI has, and that is of us being able to use multiple profiles. So when we configured our AWS CLI, we just typed in AWS configure, enter, and then we typed in our access keys and region and output format. And whenever we call AWS S3 LS, for example, we get all our buckets back. So what if I have another account that I also want to use sometimes? I don't want to be putting in my access keys again and again. So for that reason, the solution for that is using multiple profiles. And to set that up, all you have to do is say AWS configure -- profile, and I'm gonna choose a name, profile 101, enter. So you get prompted for a new set of access keys, and I'll go to my IAM console and I'll say users, add user, username, profile 101, access key, access type is programmatic access, next permissions. I don't want to give any permissions, just create a user. So when I copy this and let me paste this. Okay, so enter, and my access key, I'll paste this too, enter. US East 1 is my region name, format is table. Alright, so now the way I can use it is the same way I set it up, by saying -- profile and giving profile 101 as the profile name. So just to demonstrate, if I say AWS S3 LS, now before when we did this we had a list of buckets show up. Now I want to say -- profile space profile 101, enter, and we get an error saying access denied when calling the list buckets operations, access denied. And that is because we didn't give this user any permissions, right? We just created a key. And now if I go to my profile 101 and add permissions, I'm gonna say so here there's one for S3 read-only access. I'm going to give actually next I didn't want to do this, so I'm going to uncheck this. So attach existing policies directly. I want to choose the third option and say S3 read. So I'm going to choose S3 read only access, next, and add permissions. Now I've added the permissions to profile 101 user, and when I go back to my CLI and say AWS S3 LS -- profile 101, enter, then I only get the name of my buckets. Now you can do this with a different account or a different set of access keys. It's your choice, but this is a really good feature to have. Now I want to show you some other things that you can do with the AWS configure command, and let's get started with what if you just want to change the region, right? You can do something like AWS configure set region US East 2, right? -- profile 101. So AWS, just to check, configure -- profile profile 101. So I'm gonna leave it everything as it is, and you can see the region name is set as US East 2, whereas it was US East 1 before. So this way you can set by using the command AWS configure set by individually setting the region. Now sometimes you might need the access key ID. For example, when you want to delete a set of access keys from a user, you need the access key ID, and in that case what you can do is say AWS configure get AWS access underscore key underscore ID from profile of profile 101, enter, and this is what I get. So I can set and I can get. Now the final thing I want to show you is how to access your credential file so that you can see all the profiles and your users. So I'm going to change my directory into CD, and for Linux and Unix like operating systems, it's going to be on the home directory of your user and .aws, right? So if I list, I can view the credentials file to see all the users and profiles. I'm not going to show that because I have my access keys in there, but you can look into this file to look at all the users or all the access keys and your profiles. Okay, now for Windows users, I have a command. I haven't tried this, but this is from the AWS documentation page. This is the command dir. You change the directory into user profile and \aws. So you try this out for Windows users, and hopefully you can log into your find your AWS folder, config folder. All right, that was the lesson for different profiles on AWS CLI. I hope you use this. We will use this in some of our labs in the future lessons, and this is a very useful thing to have. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for watching.